Yeah, guys, good weekend of racing. A lot of guys out racing, so it looked really good. Even though it was kind of the holiday weekend, I thought it was a really good turnout in most places. There's some guys didn't race, I noticed, which is, I mean, that's what happens. You know, you get a weekend where you don't want to. Guys are gearing up for the Chili Bowl. They're gearing up for Four Rocks. They're gearing up for the Clash. There's so much going on right now in the first half of the year that everybody is trying to get in there, you know what I mean, and get that done. So that's, I mean, it's good, but it's just the way it is. It just takes some time sometimes to get more people out of that habit early, and then we'll get into real racing. I say real racing. We'll get into racing, and then we'll get into season. February's heavy with everybody racing again, still indoors, and they really seem to put the coals to it start of the year, and then run it into outdoor. So I'm not ready physically for outdoors as far as the track, but good, Josh. Um, I'm not ready for all that, but I am ready for I'm ready for outdoor racing. You know what I mean? Like track's not, but we're going to talk about 2025, how things kind of worked out. That's kind of what the theme of tonight's going to be, guys. Just 2025, not really a year-end review, but just talk about what we talked about a little bit, see what's up, and then anything you guys got. So a big thank you to you guys for this year. This year's probably been our best year of doing this in particular and the track. So growing with everybody is huge for us as a RC community, is to try to help everybody grow as much as we can. So with that being said, let's jump into it here. Get this up on this side here. Guys, we're going to go through attendance just like we do every week. Get my screens up. All right, here we go. Guys, this is the new format. This is the format I'll run next year. It might look a little different as far as the way it looks, but I'll explain it when we get into it next year. I'll run this all through the winter season. We'll stop it. I'll start a new one. We'll do all summer season the same way, just so we can keep a better track of averages and what it looks like, that kind of thing. I think that's really important to do. So with that being said, this week we had Thunderdome. They ran today, actually. They ran the high banks again, 23 and a 32. Let's see, Slideways was the big hitter this week. Slideways with the 59 and the 158. Man, that's a big race. We'll talk about that some. I didn't make it down there, but we'll talk about it. Brickhouse, they ran 151 and a 75. That's a race for Roger deal. And that's nice to see the community do that. Limestone, that's where we went. We'll talk about that also, 37 and a 71. Oddly enough, another high bite track, high side down in Kentucky was a 37 and a 71 as well. And then 608 ran today. They ran a 23 and a 50. Now, I didn't count in Dirt Devil. Dirt Devil did run a 100 lap, I think, Enduro, 15 cars, 15 drivers, 15 cars, 100 lap Enduro this week, which was pretty cool. But as you look there, guys, there's a couple tracks that really stand out to me. One of them, three actually. Dirt Devil, they've only ran 4 races, 45 and a 90 on the average. That's good. I mean, you wonder sometimes if more isn't hurting you. 4 races, 45 and a 90 there. Slideways is just under the 100 mark. They were 8 races with a 40 and a 99, just under 100, which is amazing. Being as close as they are to PTs, still stacking on top of PTs sometimes, but a damn fun track and fun race. I think guys will be on here tonight that can speak of that went down there this weekend for their Burn It Down 100, where they had 158 cars. So that's a hell of a job. Good job down there for Mike and the guys down there at Slideways. And then you got PTs kicking it off. 4 races is all they ran this year, guys. 76 entries and 156 on average. Now, we're talking averages, guys. That is huge. I mean, how do you we talked about last week what brings people to there, but the big part of I think the biggest thing of it is it's just what it is. You go to PTs, that's what you're expecting, and it's really good to see. So yeah, I can't say enough about that, man. That is amazing that we have tracks in this area that are running that much. You know what I mean? Let me get back to comments here. Started raining and ended with a blizzard. Yeah, we're supposed to get some too. Rick says this is a pretty good weather, and Kevin Smith is disagreeing with that 100%. And Rick said, "Yeah, I seen that, Rick, where you 13.5 bearing come out of the front of it. I seen that." So yeah, that I mean happens. You know what I mean? You bought it used a couple years ago, you said, and you've ran it for a couple years, so that's pretty good. Exalt branded motor, which, you know, nothing wrong with that. So, but anyway, guys, it's really cool to me to see that. Um, like I said, I didn't make it to Slideways. I talked to some guys down there. Sounded like it was really racy, really good racing, and a very racy track down there at Slideways. Um, you can run the top down there. We know that for a fact. And they say the bottom usually comes in also. So at that point, when it becomes racy enough where you can race side by side or get around really well, man, what more can you ask for in a track? I think that's a goal, or should be the goal, of almost every track out there, to be able to get more than one line. Not mad, just glad it wasn't a points race. Yeah, that's true, Rick. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how that, I think that's amazing. God, I can't believe it. I mean, not saying anything that why they wouldn't, but Josh says Slideways was a blast last night. I'm sure it was, man. That place was probably pretty full too, wasn't it? I'm not saying full, but I'm saying it's probably pretty full. That many drivers and cars. I'm sure they were pushing through. They didn't do too bad. I think what, about midnight or something like that. You guys got done. So a lot of cars, a lot of time. Just got to get out there and get it done. So great job for those guys getting it out. Packed house, yeah. Great job for them guys getting it done. Putting on a hell of a show. Letting guys get out there, have a really good time. A bunch of bragging rights, and had a great time. So good job to them. I stayed home, wasn't going to go anywhere, and I thought, you know what? I haven't been up to Limestone yet this year. Let's go. So the wife went to Pontiac, and I jumped in the smart car and scooted right on up there to Limestone. It's about 25, 30 minutes from the house here, and watched some high bike. Um, Everybody knows I'm not a high bike guy. On the other side of it, um, as I said early on in this podcast, if somebody thinks I have a problem with them, just call me. I'll tell you if I do or not. Um, I go up there and it starts, so we went up there, hung out with Jeff, aka Nacho. Josh Albee was up there hanging out. Tom is hanging out. What we lose? Oh well. We'll get some more guys on here. Anyway, we went up Limestone, hung out with the guys. What's up, Andrew? Uh, Hung out with a bunch of guys up there and watched some high bite. Just different racing. Um, it was good. It was fun to watch. There was a lot of Jeremy Moore showed up. Got a hold of him. Hey, what's up, James? Good Christmas, man. It's just another day to me. I don't really get real heavy in the Christmas thing. So, but it was a good Christmas. We enjoyed it. Missed the first part. Just got done cleaning up where the dog ate half a box of pancake mix. Hope he's miserably shortly. Yeah, hell yeah. IT department problems. Weasel. Weasel was up there. We got to talk to Weasel for a while. That was good. We had a good old chat up at Limestone yesterday. So it was good. It was good to get up there, talk to those guys, hang out with Jeff. Talk to Jeff for a little while, the track owner. Um, Talk to him about some 13.5 stuff, and they're running a bunch of 10.5 stuff up there. And we'll talk about that a little bit too if I don't get sidetracked on other shit. Um, but yeah, so great numbers, as I said in the first half of this deal. We'll throw that up again just in case somebody wasn't in here. Maybe that might have been what did it. But oh well. What else are we gonna do with our life? Live transfer. There it is. There's you guys' numbers again. Like I said, great job Slideways, great job PTs, great job Dirt Devil. Um, 156 average, 99 and 90. Those are the ones. The other tracks, guys, don't feel bad. Don't think you're getting shit on by me. I'm not. I'm just saying that it's amazing that we got tracks so close to each other to get that done. So, which is good. So, a great deal of racing for sure. So, I got a dog you can have too, Ryan. What's up, Randall? Chris, what's up, buddy? Cat's not. Yeah, they're the IT department. I don't. One of them's sleeping on the printer. He didn't even move when this shit happened. He said, "Handle it, old man." So, but yeah, so it was a good day, guys. It was a good weekend for us too. Like I say, I don't get up to Limestone much. It's so weird. It's so close to the house, but I just don't get up there that much. It's just not my cup of tea for the high bite stuff. But it's fun to get up there once in a while, go up and watch it. Just the difference in the two tracks, two styles of racing and the two tracks, um, and be able to see the difference, watch the racing, the difference in the racing. It's just fun to do. So we made it up and hung out. Jeremy bought some stuff, I think, and we got to talk to Hannah for a little bit. We talked the motors to him. Got talking old pictures and old stuff from Moni. That was fun. So it was just a good night to hang out and bullshit. And the wife wasn't with me because it's just a short trip. She ran the other direction, so that made it a little bit easier for both of us, not having to worry about getting home or when or what's going on. So it was good. We stayed almost halfway through the mains, and we boogied. Got back home. Reasonable hour, but somebody said Slideways was the place to be, and I believe that was the place to be this weekend. First night of racing at Kempton, first official race. Let me look real quick. I can tell you real quick. Um, is the shit show. Oops. And it's coming up May 9th. Right there. May 9th is going to be the first race. Now, we will be racing before that, but the shit show will be the first real race. We'll have some test nights and that kind of stuff. So that'll be available. So, but yeah, good weekend of racing. Congratulations to all the winners at all the tracks, especially down there at Slideways. And it was good to see. Let's get into races this week while we're talking races anyway. Looks like Limestone's starting their points deal. 2026 point series at Limestone, I believe, starts next week. If I read the schedule correctly. So if you're into that, get up there and get some high bite in. If you're not, you want to go the other direction, hit Slideways. Slideways, the Crown Jewel races point series down at Slideways. They are racing down there. Of course, where a lot of guys are going to be right here. Winter Rumble, Four Rocks. It's here, guys. We've talked about it for a long time. A lot of guys tested it out of the Prelude, and here we are. We are currently at the week before the Winter Rumble. They posted a message. I didn't talk to them today, but I think it was yesterday. They had 50 spots left. So if a guy wants to get in, I believe you're going to be able to get in. I'd contact them through the page. See what they got, and it sounds like you're probably going to be able to get in if you didn't pre-register. So if that's the case, you might want to get in there and get that taken care of and get your spot in for the Winter Rumble. I think there's going to be a lot of people there. I think it's going to be a really good number. I think they capped it at 300, but like I said, I would get a hold of them if you want to get down there. Okay. The weekend after that is going to be a big race also. That's the 9th and 10th of January, the Clash of the Titans. So that's going to be a big race. We'll talk about it more next week, but if you want to race against probably the Chili Bowl field or a good part of the Chili Bowl field, you might want to be at PT's for the Clash of Titans race. That seems like that's what it's going to be. Kevin Smith says, sounds like it will be a huge turnout at Four Rocks. I believe so too, Kevin. I really do. I believe there's going to be a really good turnout. You know, even if there's 250, man, that's a huge turnout. Don't let anybody turn you sideways on that deal. 250 cars is going to take some time to get through. It is a Friday, Saturday deal. I think they're going to do practice on Friday and then a qualifier or something on Friday night. I looked it up and I don't remember, honestly. So, but that's so those two are coming. So Clash of Titans is at the weekend after, guys. The weekend after. So you still have time. Get in here. Get yourself up there to the Winter Rumble. Honestly, that's the race of the week, in my opinion. If you want to race with the boys, get it done. You know. Kevin said they did a great job the first time around this time around. This time around will only be better. Yeah, they're learning to do indoor. They run outdoor all the time. It's the guys from Cedar Bluff and Dolbert from down at Farmer City. They're running it. I mean, there's no slouch there. Them guys got it handled, so it'll be good. Get your shit together and get down there and race. We will be there in the afternoon. I got to work until noon at the old slave to the grind, but I'll be down there afterwards. Me, the wife, and I'm sure the baby. We'll have the baby, I think. So we'll be down there hanging out and see what's going on. All right, that's the races of the week, guys. I think there's going to be a good one right there. If you want to be in it, I'd get there and. If you want some good competition, see where you stack up, that's probably a good place to be. And then you can go the next weekend right down to the Clash, and you're going to be in it to win it again. Okay? With that, let's get into the question of the week. It's kind of, it was brought up a while back. And I know where it's coming from, and I somewhat agree with where they're coming from with it, because I feel like guys talk out of both sides of their mouth a little bit about it. Here it is. Joe Payne puts it out there. Why do we need to keep blowing off the track after every race and then complain how long we're there? I understand. I think the surface. I think guys want as good a surface as they can get and don't want it really, really loose. Is that 100% the way it should be? I don't know. At some point, you kind of run out of blowing, right? There's not much left to blow unless somebody gets up and the marble's really heavy. 2020, I'm going to call 2025 the year of let's get programs done as soon as we can. Rick says I got to keep the marbles off the track. Jake says it takes longer for the marshals to show up. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think that's the payoff, right? I agree with Rick and I agree with Jake both, and I agree with Joe too. Like, if we didn't have the marshal problem of not getting on the track fast enough, I could see that being a valid deal. But with the marshals not being able to get there fast enough for whatever reason to be able to just set their car down and go, that makes a difference too. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, usually by the time we're done blowing the track, it's pretty close to ready to go with the marshals sitting on seats or not. So yeah, that's, I think the blowing is to offer us more grooves. Blowing is solid and quick, and most places marshals kill more time. Yeah, Kevin Smith. Tyler says, I don't really think it takes that long to blow the track if it's done correctly. By the time the drivers get on the stand and marshals to their spots, the blowers are already done. Right. I can remember a couple of times where blowers weren't used and questions were had. I can remember standing at the edge of the track and somebody said, "Why is there a blower in the middle of the track and nobody's using it?" Um, I understand that side of it too. You know what I mean? The people that are complaining are the ones that do not marshal. Um, yeah, I gotta say, I mean, I know Joe does. Joe marshals and his boy both, Jimmy, they both marshal pretty well. But right, I think the guys complaining, a lot of guys that complain it takes too long are the ones that are taking too long to get to the bucket. Right? I don't know how uh, Tom really does it down at PTs about who's where. I know he likes at least two on the outside and two in the pipe or on the chairs. Um, but sometimes you don't even get that. You know what I mean? Um, so they had the same problem at Limestone last night. Jeff was yelling for marshals because marshals weren't out there. You know what I mean? So it's a problem throughout everywhere. Weasel says, and getting both marshals to remember to blow the track off every race deserves a clean track to start with. I think if you do it for one, you have to do it for all. Water the same way. If I start a water on, say, we'll say Buggy Street Stock. If I spritz for Buggy Street Stock, I'm going to spritz between every round of Buggy Street Stock. If I have B mods next or TRX modifieds next, I might not water for that if I think water is good on the track. But I lightly spritz first round. I lightly spritz the second heat of the or whatever it is of each class if I start that class. That way you don't get screwed into I got further back in heats in the Buggy Street Stock, we'll say, and it got loose because you didn't water. I want everybody in that class to have the exact same class or track, right? It's you all know it's not going to be perfect, but it's as close as you can be. And then, like I say, if it's got plenty of water, then the next round, next two heats or heat or two, I might not do it. But I think agreed. Weasel, everybody needs the same track, and if you blow for one, you got to blow for all of them. One track makes Rick Taylor says one track makes the marshals blow off the track after the race before they leave the track. That's how it's supposed to do it. PTs on also. Um, Here we try to do that. It's just hard sometimes to remember because I usually go out and blow the track off. But we've set the blowers by them, and it's getting better as we get better as a track, guys. We're still rookies and very green, but we're learning as we go. Dennis says, go to PTs and see how they get it done. That's what we're talking about, Dennis. But PTs is the same. They have the same problem. You can't get marshals out there at a reasonable amount of time, and guys don't blow the track off. One guy will remember, and somebody's yelling at the other guy to remember. You know what I mean? So that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to do that. Guys forget, what have you. But I see a lot of guys forgetting that have been there a long time. So how does that happen? But it is what it is. I blow it whenever I marshal. That's all I know. But I think that's a good point. I hope 2026 becomes a little more relaxed on rushing everybody to get out. There was another post. I don't remember who it was, but I put up a question a while back, and they put something on there about what about rushing through the mains or through the heats causes problems also. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Guys, I don't think there's a difference, right? There's a difference between rushing people through the heats and being efficient. If you rush a guy into the heat or into doing it, yes, into getting on the stand, what have you, that could be a problem. But the reality of it is you should be ready anyway. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Maybe this one isn't it. Yeah, Tony Jones says rushing through heat races can cause tension and wrecks happen when being rushed. Guys, I think there's a fine line there between being rushed and uh, being rushed and racers being prepared. Um, that seems to be the biggest thought to me, right? Is um, if you're prepared, you're probably not rushed. Now, you don't need 8 to 10 minutes between rounds. If you are back to back racing, have cars ready. Uh, if you have a slower show or a smaller show, you can wait a little bit. It's not a big deal. But if you have 100 or 150, you're going to need to get them through. So you can't really wait. Um, so I think there's a fine line. I don't disagree with what Tony says. I just say that there's a fine line between rushing and preparedness. Weasel says first and second in the infield. If not, 0 laps for the last race. We do 1-2. Weasel, you've been here at my track enough. Last year we started doing 1-2s, unless it's a bump. On the bump we do 3-4. Yeah, because when I bump 1, 2, 3, then we bump that. You know, we let that guy get his stuff to ready if he needs it. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and it worked pretty well. We're going to streamline that a little bit more. I hope to be a little bit more efficient with that this year. Just again, learning as I go. But complaining about how long the track you're at the track. Hell, I hate leaving the track. Yeah, I think there's a fine line there, Rick, too, because guys, I think some guys feel like they're forced to be at the track. I think guys feel like they're being forced to be at the track are the ones that don't want to be there any later than they have to be. I feel like if a guy can willingly practice afterwards, if you have a quick show or an efficient, I don't want to say quick, I'll say efficient show, guys want to stay late and work on stuff or test, then they're okay with that. But the guys that don't want to are the ones that want to get out early if, you know, earlier the better for them because they want to get home, family, whatever it is. But track time is hard for me. I feel like if I go race somewhere, I want to make my money. Uh, I want to make as much time as I can for the money, right? So when I go and pay my $100 or whatever it is worth of racing, I want to get my money's worth out of it. You know what I mean? So I want as much track time as I can get, but that's me. I plan the whole day. Randy says also could be running too many classes, and that's true, Randy. I we've got a ton for the first one, and we're going to kind of play it by ear from there. But you know, I think 8 is about all you want. If we can keep our classes to 8 classes, I'll be really happy. Now, I don't usually count novice in that 8, and the reason I don't is because we don't always have a novice class. So I'm going to try to base my races this year on 8 classes. Of those 8 classes, I'm going to then have a 9th if we have novice. So, and most weekends it's not a big deal, but you get a big one like the Fall Brawl was for us, and Shriners Race was for us. That's Kempton Days was big. Those are going to take a little time. Okay, but you know that going in the Shriners Race, guys, it's going to be a long night for the Shriners Race. It's not going to be stupid long, but it's going to be long. Because if we do betting of any kind, that takes a little time. It doesn't take that much time for me, except for in between rounds when we do the giveaways. Hopefully we'll have help this year more so to be able to get that giveaways done. I don't have to be there for it. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody that donates to that stuff, and I appreciate everybody that puts money up for it. But honestly, I could be racing, or I could be doing resorts, or I could be, you know what I mean? We could be doing something else. The problem is your racers have tickets in their hands normally that are trying to race around. So, Randy says, no, I'm talking about the drivers racing too many classes when he goes to the track. Yeah. That's true too. That's true. Um, I agree with that, Randy. I think. I mean, if you're not in the A main, you can go home whenever you want, right? So, um, yeah. I, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to it is, but man, you've there's so many guys that complain this year about being there too long. And I understand the program isn't efficient, but if it's efficient, sometimes you gotta take the time. A couple of guys last night talked about a pro street stock class using graphite chassis. Jason Van Ice. Um, I don't know, Jason. I don't know. And here's the reason why I say that. So you're talking running a purpose-built chassis with a street stock body on it. Is that what I'm getting at? Pretty much open car. If I'm going to be at the track for 10 hours, I'd rather race cars than sit in my pits. Yeah. Well, we know Jason runs 6 or 8 classes usually, so that's and honestly, if we have a big turnout, if we have a small turnout, it's harder to marshal when you have all those classes. But when we had a big turnout like Fall Brawl, Jason marshaled too. So don't, you know what I mean? Sideways was a super street class. The full fender 55 will have some different classes like that, guys, to try out. Um, but if you, I don't know if we need another class. That's my only side to it. I mean, honestly, you have a step up. Take your crate late and run a, yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's an option, but do we need another one? That's my only thought to it. Buggy Street Stock's supposed to get you into a late model. Yeah, Jason's talking buggy based. 100%. Yeah, your Super Street is for short course. We're going to run that in the 55. The full fender 55 will have a Super Street class. One race this year just to try it out. I don't think we need any more new classes. We got a bunch already out there. Yeah, that's my only thought to it too, Randy. I don't disagree with you at all. Honestly, I could run 12 classes at my track every weekend. Yeah, Josh, rules will be up first of the year, so everybody can get ready. Um, but that's going to be a. Jason says I agree with Randy. Yeah, I just think that I think Buggy Street Stock steps into a 13.5 late, and our track will go back 13.5 this year. No 10.5s. And talking about that a little bit, let me get this question of the week off of here since we're pretty much done with that. Carrying on to other. Um, at what point? At what point are the 13.5s almost as fast as the mods or 10.5s? I think we seen it up at Limestone last night, and no offense to them, I don't whatever, but at 10.5 is almost right there, a tenth off of a mod, I believe. And if that's the case, then why run a 10.5? There's not much of a step, and that's kind of where I was with ours from last year. Jason says we don't need more classes, but then we added low-C sprints and Traxxas modifieds, and nobody complained about adding classes. Just saying. Uh, right. I agree with you too, Jason. I think I think the reason those are added is trying to get people in the hobby. Honestly, not another place for a guy to that's already here. I think there's a good progression, except for um, except for the Traxxas modified. I don't think has much of progression except for into a B mod and then or that into a slash street stock into a B mod maybe. I don't know, but That's the short course stuff, guys, is tough. Here's something that came up. BMod guys. Who would be against a BMod being turned into a short course truck with that new short course truck body? What if we took that, didn't have a BMod class at all, and you run trucks? That was mentioned last night. Weasel says, you want to learn things? Stay after the race and practice. Easier to get help after. Usually a couple of good drivers there ask questions. Agreed, Weasel. And the track surface is as good as it's going to get, right? You've got the best track you've got. Negative for me, Rick Taylor says. What if that's your only option, Rick? What if BMod goes away if you don't do it? I would add a truck to street stocks, but the BMods are hurting for cars. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why though. Our slash street stock class is huge, but you can't get a BMod. Big race, you might have 10 or 12. Adding them. Not everyone added them classes. Yeah, we did to try it to try to get people in, Randy, and then we have now no TRX modified this year. We will keep the low seat because it's an entry to sprint. But if you run a TRX modified here, you have to be a novice or you have to bump up to BMod. I guess move up to a sprint or a Midwest mod. Yeah. I think 2024 BMod was hopping 2025 half the cars, but added crate stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Truck bodies with BMod rules. Yeah, that was the question, Weasel. Truck bodies on a BMod. Who would be interested in even seeing what that does? I'm parking or selling my BMod. Just not fun for me anymore. I'm selling them and all the tires if someone wants to join that class. There you go. There's your fast BMod. Jason Van Ice is selling his shit. Get in on it if you want a BMod. You want that thing to stay alive? Find somebody that's wanting to do that. Are you getting out of Slash too, or are you going to stay with Slash, Jason? I don't know why you'd sell a Slash. It's so damn cheap, but I think the entry level classes, NASCAR truck is one of our biggest classes. NAS truck at Taylor Park. What? I'll have to look at your rules, Jason. We don't have to worry about reciting them here, but I have to look at those. You guys run a lot of the Traxxas stuff, though. In my opinion, you guys run. You're kind of down there in more Traxxas country, which is good. I like Traxxas. I'm a Traxxas guy. Honestly, besides the mini mod, I've owned one team car and everything else been Slash. But I grew up as a basher. Josh says, I sold most of my Slash stuff and regret it. I borrow it back all the time just to run them from time to time. Man, they're so much fun, dude. We run a shit out of them. Ryan says, might want to keep one. Rumor mill says we are going to get a slick concrete track to slide around on for oval, like the stuff you see on TikTok. Interesting. Weasel, we'll get those rules and post them out there. That's not a problem. If that's what needs, we'll talk about that. Jason says always run the Slash. The laughs are worth the class. Yeah, I love the Slash class. That's fun. It's just fun. Enjoyable to race. So, and those that were at the Fall Brawl, you see why. Look how much fun it was. We talked about it last night. It's actually us and me, Jeremy, and Weasel were standing talking, and we are talking about the knucklehead two comments up, Ryan and Jake Howard driving a two-seater, and we didn't even know it. You know how many people didn't even know that? But it didn't matter. It's just a fun class. Oh, here it is. Short course chassis, no adjustable arms, open everything else, open tire. Must be a short course wheel, super easy. There it is. That's your rules, Weasel. It's a B-Mod without arms and open. So, I don't know. I don't want to see everybody's B-Mod go away, but there's just none. There was 3 last night. 4, Weasel. Did you guys have 4 B-Mods at Limestone? So, Orange said, back to the 10.5 late model. I like the 10.5 because we could get close to the mod speeds without spending the mod money. But I get a change back to 13.5 if you're looking for distinct steps. Yeah, that's what we're looking for, Orange. And here's what happened. I had a racer come to me this year, and he said, I'm not ready for that late model. I got to get my buggy street stock figured out. And I said, yeah, but your buggy started looking good at the end of the year. He goes, yeah, but that's a big jump. So, again, after talking to Tom and listening to his deal with the 13.5, I understood more of it. You know what I mean? Of why they did that. You know what I mean? Why they did the 13.5 deal. And that's why. But I think we were close at the Fall Brawl. If I'm not mistaken, we were really, really close on numbers. So with that said, that's a big reason why you wouldn't want to. I mean, you're going to have some guys that are way out there, but most guys were really, really close on the number with the 2 cars. I'm gonna look real quick just because I can. We'll say a 4. The fast lap was a 4.71 by JoJo in the mod, and the crate 4.91, 2/10. So I really think that wouldn't hurt to be a bigger number. That's my deal. What's the problem with adjustable arms? I think it's really adjustment and cost, Rick. I don't know that, but just to make it a little easier on guys still trying to get in it. Now you could do whatever. I mean, each track could make that, or a group could make that a rule, right? It's just an arm, but I don't know. I really think Ryan says, there it is right there. I was about to say it. Ryan says it's a crutch. Doesn't make the guy learn how to get the car set up correctly. Yeah, I agree. I think that's Ryan's probably right, and that's what they told. That's what was the biggest thing for me understanding that when Tom was talking about it is I didn't really. I'm stupid, guys. You all know that we're here every Sunday talking about how ignorant I am. I don't understand it enough because I haven't done it enough to understand that arm makes that much difference and how you can use that as a crutch. But once talking to him or hearing him and then talking to some other guys, are like, well, yeah, just crank some arm in. I'm like, well, shit, there we are. So that makes sense. Make a guy learn how to tune his car without and set it up better without using that as a crutch. Agreed, 100%, Ryan. Jason said we were close to mod speeds in the crate only because Howard and Lewis ran it. The regulars weren't close. Yeah, let me see. Hang on. Yeah. Yeah, 5.1, 5.0 in the main. So, I mean, you're 3/10 off. But you also look at the fastest lap time in the Hang on, let me look one more time. Since we're in it now. If I look at the mod late model and I take JoJo and Jared out of that, then you're down to the 5. I mean, shit. If you're at a 5, 4.8, 4.9. Tyler had a fast lap. He only ran 32. He only ran 14 of them, but he had a fast lap of a 4.7. But I mean, everybody else is in the 4.8, 4.9 for fast lap. Average lap was a 5.3 in the mod. Crate was average lap was 5.2 without counting JoJo or Jamari and Jared. So I understand it, but it's just crazy how that works. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the problem with it. I think if you guys go dig on Live RC and look at last night's times for the 10.5 classes, I think they're damn near there. I mean, they're almost on it. Let's get back up here. Rick says adjustable arms are $40. I understand that, Rick. I just think there's more to it. Weasel says, Ryan, but it's a good way to learn before you get to mod with no adjustable arms. We agree with that, Weasel. Jason says the 13.5s are fast, less wheel spin. Tires tend to not burn off. We are seeing close times even in the open sprints. We are changing to 13.5, so it will be interesting to see the time comparison. Yes, it will. That'll be something we'll watch this summer for you guys, Jason. Just something I do, so kind of lurk and see. Van Ice says, I'd like to see the mod guys run stock arms on their cars. They can't run anything but stocks, no adjustables. Rick says, not to be argumentative yet, why adjustable arms in sprints? I think the sprint car should be 13.5 should be set like the crate late is, in my opinion. That's just my opinion of it. I think, but I think it's too far gone now. But I think that's the same way. I think sprint 13.5 sprint should have a 3 and 0 just like the others. But it's way gone. I don't know if it'll come back. Buggy Street, Ryan says, Weasel says, Ryan, Buggy Street stock is all about setup. Yeah, agreed, Weasel. And that's where a lot of guys get in trouble. You know what I mean? Ryan says, yeah, it's kind of hard to pick a class where they should be allowed as intermediate. Yeah, adjustable arms. Yeah, it is hard. Because you want the guy to learn to be able to do it at some point, but it's so hard to know what it is. You know what I mean? Like, when do you allow that? And you don't want to put another class in there. You couldn't put I don't know. So if that's the case, then what you would have is 13.5, we'll say crate or sprint, and then you do a 10.5 crate or sprint, and you could put an arm on it. But who wants another class? It would kill each other, I think. I think one additional late model class is all that we can handle right now. See where I'm at here. Dennis says some tracks will make you choose either run mod or 13.5, but you can't run both. That is a very touchy subject, but yes, I agree, Dennis. And at some point, that's going to have to be discussed somewhere along the line, and I don't even know how to do that or what to do, or I don't know. I really think mod guys should stay in mod. I think spec guys should stay in spec, but that's so hard. I want to do some more research on other parts of the hobby to see how they do it, just because I'm not sure, and I want to see it for myself how it's done. I hear people say stuff, talk to people about stuff. I want to go watch it. I want to go look it up. I want to go see what these guys are doing and see if that's even an option, right? In other parts of this hobby. Hell, I'd like to run adjustable arms on the slash Stock car. Yeah. Well, but there you go, Rick. A crutch. It would turn. It would work so much better. That's why we don't let it happen. Figure it out on the slash, which you can make a slash damn fast without an adjustable arm, and um, then bump up from there and see what you got. You know what I mean? Then you learn more. The cat is in the shelf above at the top of the shop. If he falls off there, it's gonna be a big boom, boys, and shit's gonna go haywire. I promise you. Um, you also have to. Jason said you also have to consider who is running those lap times. A veteran driver who dropped down a class to run a regular class, who's playing around club racing. Yeah, I agree. I 100%. 100%. I can't say that that's not, you know what I mean? If you take the same guy in the same car and the same driver and put him in, or same driver and put him in a 13.5 and a mod and see what that number looks like, is the best way in my opinion. Short course truck with an open motor, you better reinforce the walls. They're getting reinforced this year. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to hurt. Speaking of walls, I seen Five Star, Shane and the crew over there. They got walls up. Indiana's trying to stack tracks on us. Illinois guys, like we need more, but that's fine. Indiana can have some. We have plenty. But Five Star's gonna have them in indoor. Looks like he's got that thing starting to get around, big banking in it. So we'll see how that works out for him. Looks like it'll be a fun place to race. They got that series coming in, so the GLSS series will be run there. So I think it's February. Had it posted last week. So Trace will still find a way to knock it down. You ain't shitting, Joe. Trace is our durability monitor. Five Star is looking pretty good. Yeah, I think Kevin. I think it, and they'll get it. We all know that. We all know Five Star's going to get that shit done. They're going to get it figured out. They've ran a track before. It is indoor. It does make a difference. It is a different atmosphere when you're in, literally a different atmosphere indoors. So you've got to do it differently. You know what I mean? So that's going to be different for him. But those guys will get that figured out. And I think it's going to look pretty good too. I think it looks really good. And I think it's going to be a hell of a track to race at. So, and I've talked to Shane quite a few times just on the phone and through Messenger and stuff, just, talking track. And he's an intelligent enough guy to figure it out and give us all somewhere to race when we want to, not at PTs in the winter, and I think he's going to run all year round, but I'm not 100% on that, but indoor. So we'll see how it all works out. Five Star is going to be something to watch and see what happens. Indiana coming on strong, boys. Get ready. Kevin Smith might be coming Indiana again instead of Iliana. So send his ass back to Indiana. But yeah, that's all so hard to consider talking motors and figuring that out. But the rest of the tracks in the area are 13.5. We're going to step back down to that. We're going to step down to the tow rule. Tow gauges are ready to roll. Tow gauges are made. We can't get rid of you now, huh, Kev? We'll be tow gauges. We have tow gauges made. So tow gauges will be used here. 13.5 guys, you will learn how to use tow gauges to that is what we will use, right? So the same exact tool that we use to set 3 and 0, you guys will learn how to do that when you come here. Did I miss a new track besides Five Star getting back going? Not that I know of, because we're talking about Five Star at this point. Don't know of any others. officially. So I don't know. What does that give you guys? 4 in that state now? You don't need 15. Believe me. Anyway, had fun running mod sprint and mod late model is Slideways, ripping the top. That track is fun to race. Wish I lived closer. Yeah. I think Slideways is a fun place, man. Was it top? Who was down there? Was it all at the top again, or was there multiple lines last night? You can't get rid of me. You can get rid of me going to Indiana. No. I lived in Indiana. I don't want to go back. I was in the good part of Indiana, though, when I lived there. 3 lines most of the night, Josh says. That's good, man. Hell yeah. Rip the lip, Caden. Well, you know you're up there, Caden. It seems like that's fast down there. That's the fast way around that track. Like I say, only been there once, but when I was there, that was where you wanted to be. So it was good. That's good. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm glad everybody went down. Depends on what class was on the track. Most mod stuff was middle to the top, but still 2 lines at least. That's good. Matt says I had a blast with all you guys. Yeah. That's kind of a hidden gem, in my opinion. For outdoors, is Raw, Kaminsky, and 5-star. Kaminsky, Go Fast, Brickhouse, and 5-star indoors. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you guys have 4 tracks that you got, or, well, 3 tracks in the summer and 4 in the winter, so. Yep. Somebody said something about Brickhouse running more in the summer. I thought I seen a post about it. Was all top, it seemed like with character. Had a hell of a crater in turn 3 and made the fun racing fun. Yeah. When I was there, I had a dip there, blowout there too, which is, hey man, it's there. You either got to when I was there, you had like 2 inches above it if you could get up there without hitting the wall, and then, or you had to go through it or blow it. So, Josh says I was hitting a 4.7 lap on the bottom in the 13.5 sprint, but mod stuff was more on the top. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Anybody on here that's not been to Slideways? It is a hike if you're up this way, but I promise you, it is worth it. There's a couple of tracks. I mean, honestly, in Illinois in the wintertime, if you're not racing high bite, if you're racing high bite, you're at Limestone, in my opinion. That's probably where you're at. If you're not there, then you got 2 other really great tracks in Illinois to go to. And they don't schedule a lot on top of each other, which is really good. So Slideways and PTs. Now, obviously, the Rumble is a specialty race, but the 2 that are there all the time are PTs and Slideways. Pack your shit up, throw it in the truck, get your ass out of bed before noon, and head down there. It's worth it. You'll be, you drive all the way to the back there, the fairgrounds, and you're in a building. I mean, it's not big. I'm sure it was packed in there this week, which is great. But there's room. You get in there. You're hanging out with your buddies. Everybody's right there. It's good racing, and you can race. If you want to rip the lip, I promise you're going to rip the lip at that track. Even if it's not the fastest line, if you like ripping the lip, that's where you go. So, man, get down to Slideways, enjoy that. Everybody knows about PTs. PTs has been a staple in Illinois for a while and puts on one hell of a show. But the other side of it is Slideways and their post today. If you guys aren't on their page, jump on there and read the post. Was probably one of the best posts I've seen in a while from a track. and it just shows that they are real people and real real guys. You know what I mean? Like, uh, they are far better than what we are. You know what I mean? Like, as far as the level of track. But the other side of it is they're so humble with how they do it. A lot like great track owners are, you know, great operators are, good guys are. They're humble about what they got and they understand what they have without saying, "Look at me." But I'll tell you, fucking get your shit together and go down there and race. It's a damn good time. Charles Gross, where are you from? I assume you're from down that way. First time commenting. Put in where you're from. What's your home track? 165-ish cars yesterday at Slideways. Show moved pretty well. Great concessions as well. Yeah, they do a good job. Like I say, only there once, but man, I again, I'm trying to get shit done here at the house, so I did not go, but I will make another trip down there. It's well worth my time. So, but it's going to be packed with races and races on top of races here coming up in the next couple of weeks. We got more races than Illinois and Indiana than we know what to do with. But that's how it works. I mean, that's the way we roll. So, but yeah, it's good. Good racing, guys. Good times. Like I said, I went high bike racing. It was a great time up there too. Um, like I said, it's different now. More people know me. It's a little easier, you know. Trusted, I run Sideways weekly. Have been for several years now. Oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Glad you jumped on. Uh, Brian says 125 plus cars is becoming the norm on a typical rubber tired dirt oval Saturday night. Both tracks are awesome and drawing people from a long way away. Yes. Yep. Some of the best were there this weekend. You know what I mean? I mean, both tracks are doing a hell of a job. Now, with that being said, um, I was talking to Hannah this weekend about Moni because he raced at Moni and ran it, I guess, for a while. Um, I asked him, what's so special about it? And he said, man, it was just good atmosphere, fast racing, and honestly, it was one of the only places around, or one of the first places around indoor, dirt oval. So, and he said, it's just ownership. It was just a good time. So, and I asked that question to guys that are at tracks that are gone or tracks that were a huge success, but just to figure it out, because it hasn't changed much, guys. We're doing the same thing they did. Technology's changed a bunch, but other than that, they make it a little easier for us, honestly. Jason said, I thought Josh and Mike ran a great show. A race. Racers seemed ready to go except for some B-mod races in the second round. My five classes were pretty well spread out, and except for some troubles with my cars in the rounds, I had a great time, even getting a couple podiums with some of my cars. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. That's good. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just fun. Like, you get a different group of people, see how things are different, how people are different. You get a different surface to race on, and Jason, you race all over, so that's no big surprise for you. You know what I mean? Like, that there's the different surfaces, and understand how that's different. But a lot of guys only race at one or two tracks, and they need to get out and race different tracks, different areas. So, but it's good. It's a good time, man. I'm glad everybody made it down. I'm glad for Mike and them to get a good. Not saying they don't, but get a big number and be able to handle it. It really says a lot for the program. And that says a lot for the track itself. So congrats on that, you guys. Kicked ass. Good job. I don't even know if we'll get into it, but it's not a big deal, guys. We've been talking about it a lot already. Here's what we're doing tonight. This is the topic of the week, as always. It's just 2025. We're just talking 2025, and that's what it is. Um, I'm not real keen on any of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I think we had a great year as a track, but the reality of it is, I think the hobby, in all honesty, has come around a bunch. Um, Tracks are helping other tracks. Tracks are talking. Um, I know personally, I've done a bunch with that to be able to go to a different track and step up to talk to the owner instead of thinking that guy is against me. Um, so personally, I think that's good. I think a lot of racers have done the same thing. I think a lot of racers have tried different stuff, went different places, gave other tracks shots. That's huge for the hobby. Whether you like it or not, guys, we're all in this together. We're all trying to figure out the best way to make this happen where everybody can um, everybody can flourish. We can have places to race every weekend. We can have a good turnout. We can we can make it happen with as many people as we need or want to. Um, there was 225 racers and 457 cars out there on the tracks this weekend with just a few that I cover, right? And that's out of what, 6 tracks. There was that many cars and racers out there. Guys, there's plenty of racers that go around. Don't think that that's going to be a problem in the future where guys can't get out and race. Um, there's usually plenty of cars out there. The weekend before there was a 303 and 612. The week before that was the low week. Nobody really raced that week though. That's why 107 and 212. So, you know what I mean? There's plenty of racing out there. If you go back to the stats of it, in the winter races only, and we've only been in the winter races, we have uh, we have raced 97 races this year, an average of 26 drivers and 52 cars, average per track, all of them in the wintertime that I cover. So that's huge. That's a big number in my opinion. What's up, Anthony? Good to have you back on. That's huge for all types of RC racing. Yes, Anthony, it is. Anthony is a carpet deal, and man, we don't bag on carpet deals here either. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of guys right now that are racing Thunderdome that race dirt in the summertime. So it is what it is. I don't care if a guy is racing monster trucks, Chicago style, in a backyard somewhere. If we have people in RC cars and we have people racing, that's all I care about. Do I enjoy the dirt oval stuff? Yes, I do. I'm a drag racer at heart, but the reality of it is, I don't like the drag racing side of it. I like to see them. I like the look of the cars, but the just money is just way out of my league. So uh, that's another side of it. So we'll make it over your place, Anthony's. I want to see that place and see how it's ran and learn something like I do everywhere I go. So we'll be headed your way. Rick Taylor says we all need to work together and not against each other. Yes, Rick, that's the whole point of this podcast every week is for guys just to sit down like we're at a pit table or we're at the bar bullshitting about it and having a good time. And the problems come in whenever somebody thinks they're owed. The problem comes in whenever somebody thinks they are better. That's whenever problems start. So that's why we hope this helps with that. You might get called out on something. It doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else or somebody else is better than you or blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means, hey, chill out. Let's work together and let's make this happen. So yes, it does. And it's coming. We'll be okay, I think. Jason says, I do get around. That sounds something else. But anyway, that's another podcast. But I've noticed my stuff isn't as fast as it used to be. Since summer, I just haven't had time to work on my stuff to stay competitive. I went to try a new mod car, and really that was the only track running that that would resemble the Four Rocks track to test. Yeah. Yeah, but you did good. I mean, that's interesting to hear from a guy like Jason's been doing it a long time and the amount of time to be competitive is very true. Hi, Mama. You guys, if you guys didn't see the podcast on Christmas Eve, go back and watch that. Mama was on it with us. It was a good one. Jason says, 2025, we saw quite a few regular racers take the year off. It wasn't like they went and raced different track. They just didn't race in 2025. It hurt our numbers. It seemed other tracks dealt with similar issues. I can say we did really well in Illinois anyway, Jason, but we're a different demographic, what have you. But the old saying, the strong survive, and just be strong with that. I think you'll come around. I think consistency is probably the biggest thing, and the consistency with the rule as much as we can too helps. But whether it's track to track or at the track, attitude is probably the one. If you wanted to look at somebody, look at attitude. Aaron and those guys up there, it takes them act of Congress to get a rule change, which is fine. That is probably the best way to do it instead of spur of the moment stuff. But that's how he keeps his clientele. He keeps his base because he keeps the same rules for forever, which is great. We're hoping to get on that track now that the tracks around here are working together more. I'm hoping that helps us get that back, where I don't have to change rules again. Jason Van Nuys, that's not good to say. Oh, well, yeah. That's what I was thinking. But Tommy says, I think Dirt Oval is healthier than ever. More quality tracks, much better technology, making it more ease of entry and a legit chance to move up. I agree with you, Tommy, a lot. The only problem you run into is the money, right? Technology costs money. And but people are making more, so you gotta look at it that way. It's just we need a couple of classes low end that we can keep guys where they can buy a car and race them and not have to worry about spending a ton. And as most of us do know and probably did when we got started in this deal, you buy one, you play with it, you get to that point and you're like, man, that's fun, but I don't want to sit here half the day doing nothing. I want another car to race, and then you get another one. So it's an addiction like anything else, and they say all addictions are bad, but I don't know. RC ain't too bad. Y'all, Mama says y'all leave Jason alone. He said it. So yeah, for us on the podcast in 2025, guys, we grew immensely, and it's all because of you guys. There's a few people I want to thank. Obviously, Mama's on here. My wife. She lets me sit out here on Sundays. I use most of my Sunday to be doing this. Honestly, prepping, getting ready, getting stats ready, getting things together. That is how I produce what I produce, right? So, and it's growing every week. So I got to thank her for letting me do this, along with running the track. So, big shout out to Mama for that. A couple people that helped me this year. Obviously Dave Brinkman, RC Underground Radio. He's been on here, not live yet. Well, he was live with the bullshit session, but just the bullshit to talk with Dave. We'll get him on in 2026. And if this Nat doesn't leave me alone. The other people are Brian Munsterman. Brian is not on here tonight, I don't think. He's probably sleeping. He's old. And then Tyler Keel coming on was, just a thought at the last minute, and got him to come on, and just a different point of view. So that was a really good episode too. So thanks to my two co-hosts and my wife for that. And then all my sponsors. You guys see them on the side. They help us to get this going, and keep us running every week with the track or with the rest of it, My Kempton Crew guys, they help track every week. They help me with content if I need it. Rogue Race Concepts, Traxxas Joe, you guys know him. Guys, I'm telling you, you better start watching out. I think that stuff's coming. I think there's gonna be some of those cars out running that are gonna be. It might take a little bit, but I think they're gonna be very, very competitive. Joe's competitive right now, and Jimmy's getting better with the 13.5 stuff. So get ready for that. The pub up in Morris, he gives us some help with that, and that dude's got amazing food. If you're at the Thunderdome, you want to get something done, you need some food. Run over there. The pub, it's right by the Thunderdome. Get you some food. BBQ. You guys seen him on the tractor in the last Throwback Thursday. That's Brett. Brett Von Qualen, BBQ. He's the one that helped build this hole in the ground we call a track. And if it wasn't for him, who knows what the hell we'd have. Probably some fucking lumpy piece of shit. That dude put a ton of laps in with that drag, that box, and helped us. We'll continue those Throwback Thursdays, guys. You guys kind of see the track come together. And laugh if you want to, because we laugh at it too. JW Morris Remodeling, you guys know Jeremy. Jeremy is a good friend and does a hell of a job remodeling. He was working on one of your fellow RC racers' homes as we spoke last week. I think he finished it up now, though. So, Three Joys, she took all them photos. You guys see them photos that are coming up? It's all Three Joys. Leslie Nolte did the first year. Carly Morris, Jeremy's wife, Three Joys. She did the rest of it. You know what I mean? And she did one hell of a job. So thank you for that. So got that spiel out of the way. Thanks for all my sponsors, 100%. Tommy says, I ran a Moni at Moni, both electric and gas. We weren't getting the car counts that we get now. Yeah, 100%, Tommy. I think that's really the side of it that people don't understand. You know what I mean? That it has grown a ton. And like you say, guys are building purpose-built cars now. I mean, guys are building purpose-built cars, and guys are building factory cars you can just go buy and race. So that helps us a ton. Mama says I'm going to start taking this dog. The dog is going to be taken to the vet, I think. Rick says 1 becomes 2, then 2 becomes 4, then 4 becomes 10, and so on and so on. The wife says, or you build a track. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, what an adventure it's been. I don't regret it. The track is a great thing, guys. As if you guys listen to the podcast with a wife, there's some trying times whenever I build something and tear it back down because I don't like it. I mean, it's happened more than once. So it is what it is. We just try to do the best we can and learn as we go. So yeah, 2025 was great, guys. Thank you all for the support for our track, our podcast. This deal is no different than track, guys. This is all about you guys. If we weren't in here with all these comments, guess what? What would I talk about for an hour and a half? Even with the snafu at the front. You know what I mean? What am I going to do for this time period? I'm looking to see what we got here real quick. But that's the way that works. You know what I mean? You just continue. So we will continue the topic of the week this year, the same as we have in the past. Yeah, 113. We will continue the same thing. We will do question of the week. I will be putting that out. We will do a giveaway again, probably June, July. We'll do another giveaway like we did last time. We'll do some merch, and we'll probably do the same thing where you get a package of meat, probably from farmer grade again, just like we did for Rick. Just because I think that's a good thing to do, and it helps. It doesn't drive it, but it helps you guys, gives you guys something more than just, hey, you put your name gets put on the podcast. So, but yeah, been a good year, guys. Thank you. Thanks for listening to In My Opinion. Don't forget to join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central on Kempton Speedway Facebook page. Catch our highlight show, dropping Wednesdays on RCU Radio's YouTube, Spotify, and all major platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.